Did you know that 80% of professionals report feeling disconnected from their work, even after achieving traditional success? So the question becomes, what happens when success no longer feels aligned to who you are? Welcome to the Wickedly Branded podcast. I'm your host, Beverly Cornell, and I'm the founder and fairy godmother here at Wickedly Branded. And today's conversation is going to go beyond just typical branding tactics and into something much, much deeper. We're going to talk about identity and alignment and what it really means to lead and build from a place of your truth. I'm joined by Camille Miller. She's the founder of the Soul Professional Movement and a global business incubator spanning 6 continents and 48 countries. And she supports high-achieving leaders who are in a season of reinvention, helping them move from performance-driven success into something far more aligned, coherent, and impactful. And this conversation is going to challenge the way you think about what success is, how you show up with visibility, and even how you see your brand. Camille, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Beverly. I'm excited to be here today.
I am so excited because I talk a lot about how branding is identity work.
Yeah.
And your whole kind of ethos and business is based on that and living your truth and all kinds of fun things. I feel like we're going to speak a very similar language today, so I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your spark. How did this start? Like, where have you been and how did you get here?
Okay, it's a loaded question. So my background before I started this company, I was a not-for-profit executive. I was a CEO in organic agriculture. I know. And that job was defunded in 2015. And I found myself in this space of what is next for me. I was about to turn 50. And I also decided to file for divorce. And I was no longer motivated by money, but by impact. Because I had actually absolutely loved that job, but I knew I was meant for something more, right? So it was in that time when I was searching for what to do, I came up with this concept of the business incubator, a professional organization for soul-led entrepreneurs. But most of our people come out of corporate worlds. So they've done the things, Yeah, oh, I love that term. They've hit the title, they've done the thing, they've made the money, and they're like, this doesn't make my heart sing. They thought that by reaching that level of success, or what success was defined for them, especially in women, we were defined by an ego-driven way of success that doesn't fill our cup, right? But a way for these spiritual beings to have credibility to their work. Because so many times there were people like me who had a very logical brain and leaned into this soul work, and we were discredited right away, right? That can't be true. Today, everything's backed in science, but it wasn't back then. And people were just like, quackery, and what are you doing? And this is crazy. So I wanted to lend credibility to that and a safe space where people could come together and talk about it. And it was kind of wild because people would show up at meetings and we'd be like, I haven't told anybody. It's like, more than knows, I haven't told my family yet. Yeah. And I was like, I think I got something here. Yeah. So it started out as a coffee club, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware. And I just started moving. And then it was coffee and lunch. And then it was coffee, lunch, and dinner. And then it was drinks. And then it was like, and we were having businesses open their doors and invite more people. So the platform was there for me to talk and speak and just say, this is where I see the world going. And people started to join and became a membership organization very quickly. And then at the end of 2017, I got a call from California. Someone's like, I've been watching you. I can't wait for you to go out here. And by that time I was divorced and I was a full-time mom of 3 kids. And I was like, boy, this model's not sustainable at all. So it was like, how am I going to do this? And I needed to create an ambassador team of people that would hold all of these for me. But I'm claircognizant. So I also had a download message of the world's going to go to video. You need to start teaching everyone to bring their gifts through video. And I was like, are you freaking crazy? How the hell am I doing that? And then I heard of this thing called Zoom. And I was like, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. So let me learn Zoom. And I just started telling everyone we're going to go to a Zoom model. So no chapters. And if you want to have coffee with me, it's going to be on Zoom. So Coffee with Camille started in 2018. In January, we opened up as no chapter virtual Zoom platform. And In 2019, I got certified in an energy psychology called Psyche. And in 2020, you might remember a global pandemic. And we didn't have to pivot, change, we didn't have to do anything. And all those people that were following us thinking that we were crazy, or maybe they had something, but I don't want to tell anyone yet, or I'm not ready to talk, just started flooding. And the word soul professional, I say, was given to me by the universe. And I immediately trademarked it. And we opened up with that at the beginning of 2021 is when we put out the pledge and the movement and rebranded, changed our website, and moved into this brand. Today, like you said, we're across 6 continents. We're in 51 countries. But I ended up bringing down the paywall in 2024 because I really wanted more people to have the chance to explore what is possible and bring their gifts to the world. And because I was a single mom who had a struggle and bring up, and I was like, this would have been so comforting for me in those times that I wanted to make it available for those that needed it. And we call them seekers today. For those people that really aren't sure of the direction, but they know they're meant for something bigger and they're having that awakening and that questioning and that curiosity, we open the doors for them too. So they can come to any of our things, and we're completely a free community with healing circles and soul circles and networking and co-working hours and grand meditations. And we bring in very big business trainers, and so they can get the education. I'm also a former MBA professor, so I teach business classes for them. And that's our community. We're self-sustaining at this point. In 2025, I was like, I cannot keep funding this. So we have to find a way to create the revenue streams so this can get bigger. And now leaders are just coming out of the woodwork to help us. Corporations are sponsoring us. It's really been an amazing brand for us. And people are like, I get it. And in May, we launched what's called the Verified Soul Professional Directory. And that's because I feel that the spiritual world and the soul and the authenticity is becoming predatory. People are coming in and using the words, but not walking the talk.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, truth and trust are our new currency. So
I joke all the time that I was raised by a hippie.
Yeah, so are my kids.
So I also am in that same age range. And that 3 years ago, I feel like I had a whole kind of awakening as well. Maybe it's like post, like the perimenopausal, I don't know. There's a whole thing with it. But she is a nurse by education, but she has a doctorate in spiritual coaching, which essentially I feel like she led me to live a life of service. And at one point, Camille, I wanted to be a diplomat. I wanted to like literally save the world. And the world had other things planned for me. I think it did okay with how it turned out, but his team is all across the world. And I do diplomacy in different ways now based on my team. So it's a very interesting way of how the universe works and makes the things happen that are supposed to happen for you. But I feel like there's so many. I work specifically with high achieving women who are usually consultants, coaches, and creatives.
Yep.
Who are doing this one woman show thing, right? Like it sounds like that's how it started. We all start with this woman show.
Absolutely.
You help to grow the impact, to make the difference. And I specifically wanted to work with service-based women because women want to help people. Like we want to help them be well. We want to help them all their financial issues. We want to help them do all the things that actually can make the world a better place at the end of the day. And so my mission is really around if more women, and I love men and I have men clients too, but I just don't think there's as many resources for women as there are for men, is if women have more power and agency and money, like these female founders, we're the first generation of female founders, Camille, your brand. You said you had an awakening. Like it is truly something extraordinary when that happens.
Yeah.
And you can show up uniquely as that magic, like that. It's almost unstoppable. It's just an amazing thing to witness and to be part of, but it builds clarity and confidence and momentum and like magic in ways you don't even know is possible. And it sounds like you built magic in ways you didn't even know was possible. And that's exciting and hard and all the things. What has been, you think, the hardest part of the brand evolving in such a significant way over the last 10 years or so?
Getting out of my own way.
Oh, yeah.
Big problem because I've always run so big. I was like, just how do I get there? And it was the doing of it all that sometimes kept me from being I've been the chief visionary,
Yeah.
but I've been the doer. And sometimes I get caught in the doing, right? We got to make money to sustain it. What do I got to do? I got to do. If this was someone else's, this is not how you would lead, right?
I
So,
love that perspective. I want to stop you
yeah,
for a second. If this was somebody else's business, what would you be doing? Because sometimes when you're so in the forest, you can't see the trees, right?
yes, that's what was
And
happening.
so pulling yourself out is really hard. And I think that's one of the things that we help with our clients is like pulling them out of it for enough space to give them room to breathe and to get
Yeah,
all that stuff out of your head and down, and then to think of it more pragmatically. And
yeah,
also with the vision you have and the passion you have, if like what really does need to happen, I do think that we get in our own way, and we live smaller than we encourage people we work with to, right?
yeah,
There's something we believe in everybody else. Everybody else can do these really
yeah,
amazing things, but somehow we don't think that's possible. Not in
yeah,
like a conscious way, but sometimes in an unconscious way. And so I feel this. I feel this because I'm in the middle of writing a book, and I feel like the book is a movement. My publisher even said it's a movement, and so I feel like that feels like a lot, and that feels scary to me. And if it's a movement, like what does that mean? And like all of a sudden, I call them the flying monkeys of distraction: the fear, the doubt, the perfectionism, the
yes,
imposter syndrome. As you're about to level up, actually try to keep you small, right? Of like, this
yeah,
is what, like, you can't do this. Who are you? Like to create a movement. I'm just an
yeah,
army wife in Fayetteville, North Carolina, who has some wisdom and life experience and a lot of branding experience. Like, who am I really? And I feel like the belief of my publisher and the belief of my friends and the belief of my clients and all those people are evidence. They're glimmers that this is a movement and I need to get in my own way. And so, has there been people or certain circumstances that have given you the glimmers of evidence that you need to do this so that it you can do it?
yeah, yeah, yes. And a lot of people come to mind, but it was about maybe 2 years ago. I think it was like 2025 because I was losing faith in 2025 because I'd stopped the membership and that stopped almost all of my income. And I was like, I know this is not what I'm supposed to do, but what am I doing? How am I going to survive from this point? And figuring that out, which took about a year. But it was also during that time that someone crossed my path who really encouraged me to go deep into the movement that we were doing. He was like, you have all this stuff. We have all of it. What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Should I close the whole thing? And he was the driving force behind me because I was like, I'm tired. I don't know if I want to anymore. I'm just tired. I've been doing this for 10 years. Maybe it's time to sunset it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was the one I went, are you crazy? This is so big and you have so many followers already. What are you doing? And he kept calling and making appointments to talk to me and keeping me on track. And let's talk about this. Let's do the pledge. Let's get this up. And that was the piece that, like, when we finally released all the pledge and everything, and I started to see everybody be like, yeah, this is exactly what we needed, because we have a pledge about being a good global citizen, helping each other rise, and hundreds of people have signed it. And then this particular year, when I had that kind of, you need to lead. If you're going to be a leader, then you need to lead. And I gave myself until October 1st of this year to decide to sunset it or keep going. You have to go big or we're closing the brand. What are you doing? And I gave myself till October 1st. And this year has been so dynamic. The amount of people that have just shown up or reached out and said, how can I help? And I was like, it's like I called it in. It was wild. It's just been like, this, I can't believe that this is all happening. And then one day I was like, I wonder how many countries were. I started writing because I was going back and forth with, there's a book in me. And I keep writing and writing. And then I started writing little snippets of articles, like thought papers. And I started a newsletter on LinkedIn. I have 1,100 people following me and writing comments and doing all this stuff. And I was like, huh, right? And people reaching out like, oh my God, I was looking for this. And I was like, I feel like something's happened. Like all of those moments and glitters. And it's really funny because as a coach, I tell people, look for the evidence, look for the evidence. And if there's evidence there, we know everything is possible, right?
Yeah.
There's millionaires in the world. You know it's possible to make $1 million, right? Evidence that is possible, right? And for me, I had to say, after the age of 50, there are some profoundly, and I just lost my word, women just excelling. There's profound evidence of women over 50 that have just skyrocketed, just had an idea. And I was like, there's evidence that you can do this.
Absolutely.
There is evidence in this chapter of your life that everything can change.
And absolutely essential. My coach calls it the badassery jar. That's not me. And I love that because the badassery jar is just a reminder that, like, I think society can be a little rough. It can be hard on us. There's so many expectations and shoulds and things that we carry that we need the evidence that our work matters and that we matter. And that evidence is really powerful for us. I have a testimonial system now. It's part of my process. And I thought I was getting testimonials for content because I'm a marketer and a brander and that's my jam. But actually they become my glimmers that are reminders for me and my team that what we're doing is incredibly powerful. And look at the transformations we are creating. And every single one of my team members is 110% committed to the work we do. I think really because the glimmers are so powerful.
Yeah.
And so that can change everything, is having the right person, this gentleman who is cheering you on and keeping you accountable and keeping your head straight, not letting you get inside your own head and convince yourself otherwise and all the things. And so grateful. Gosh, if he hadn't, we wouldn't have chatted or something. That's an important part of your journey to have that person. So I love that for you. And so many levels that you had a person who believed in you. And we all need people like that in our lives. So
it's all these little things. And now, just like how we met, people are introducing me to the people, right? I'm not searching. People are just like, let me make introductions. And I'm like,
I think that I believe that is so incredibly important now more than ever with AI and the generic world that we're kind of coming into, is this idea of identity and coherence that you talk about.
Absolutely.
This is incredibly powerful for any business owner. And it really sits at the center of what we do as well, in a kind of a different way than you, but certainly incredibly powerful work that you can do with people. And I want to talk a little bit about that, like coherence and identity work and what that means. And I talk about it from a narrative coherence, like all your life. And I just got off another podcast where I talk about this. All your life is filled with experiences that you believe are ordinary. But there is what I call shimmering threads that connect all of this to your values and to what you have experienced. And so for me, I'm just going to lay out a couple of things that I've gone through. I've moved 20 times in my life. I almost died when I was 19. I've had exchange students. I've lived in Europe. I've lived in South America. I have a team from all over the world. I'm an Army wife. My mom's adopted. I'm adopted. My child's adopted. I've had infertility problems, like all these things that have been in my life, right? And the one thread that I think, this is where it changed for me like 3 years ago. Once I looked at my past, my present, my kind of where I am and where I want to go, was this: I have this really deep need to be understood. And what that challenged me for was I chose my path and my life based on understanding other people, giving them the understanding that I never had, essentially.
Yeah.
I became a Stevens minister, where we help people process grief and loss and illness and cancer and divorce and all these different things, and just listening with them. And for me, I believe, and I don't want to talk all this because I want you to answer, but I believe that Jesus, when he came to, and I'm religious, but I'm not like, I mean, it's part of my life, but it's not. But I just think this is a really powerful example. Jesus, when every miracle, he had a miracle before the miracle. He saw the person. He saw their pain. He saw them as human beings. He understood them before he did the miracle. He saw the man who was blind his whole life, and he saw their pain. And so I believe that everyone has this journey and a story and all these things. And there's these shimmering threads that are extremely powerful that have taught them lessons and resilience and values that matter. And that distinction in their identity can be incredibly powerful for part of their mission and the work that they're doing to create coherence of their life, but also resonance for the people who need to be in their orbit. So you talked
Yeah.
about now everyone's like introducing you and talking because there's this resonance that's
Yes.
happening. It's
Yes.
incredibly powerful. So based on that, like that is my world of identity and coherence and resonance and all those things.
Yeah.
How does it sit in your world and what does that mean for Camille?
Yeah. I think it's the same for me and for all the soul professionals that are in the community. I feel like when I was younger or was going for my MBA or in the 80s, like success was shown to me as the title, the letters behind my name, the money I made, the car I drove, the like all of it, right? And I wanted to be successful, so I wanted all of those things.
Mhm.
And as I got older, I became mature out of that too, right? But I think life has changed, right? So my identity, I had to reach a moment of, is that really important to me? Do I need to follow all of these societal rules? Does that reflect on me? So it's an identity piece. It's all identity. And even in our branding and everything that you do, that's our identity, our brand and ourselves. We are that.
Absolutely.
So it's who do I want to be in this world? And I always say, you want to act as your future self now, right? Because I always say, would my future self make this decision?
Ooh,
Where I'm going. Yeah.
I make my team write their eulogies. Every quarter we talk about how they're living towards that person.
Yeah. I'm like, really? Like, what am I doing? So it's that whole piece of, oh my God, I was brought up like you in a family that always served. My mother taught me to be a leader. I think that's why my whole background was in not-for-profit, right? It was always mission. And my father was in the Air Force, also a doctor, though, and opened up free clinics and did this stuff and gave to churches my whole life. So we were taught from a place of service to always give to others and give quietly. Don't put your name on things.
Absolutely.
So I feel like I'm still doing that, right? That's still a part of my identity, but sometimes you can just give so much. And I had to step in and say, you can't give from an empty cup. You can't give until it hurts. There's boundaries that you have to start putting around yourself so the right people are here, and learn to receive. That was a hard lesson for me, being the oldest child, being like, it was hard to receive. I was an overproducer, overdoing. So it was, but that all became my identity and all that had to shift. I don't know what the question was that you asked, but
How is like coherence and identity and all of that kind of,
yeah.
how does it play out for you and what you're doing? Because I know this is very purpose-driven, mission-driven.
Yeah.
I love the eulogy example because it is something I talk about quite a bit, actually, is the eulogy. You can want people to say certain things about you, but are you actually doing the things today to get to that point? And so holding ourselves to that, if you want to be known as the person who helped a church or
Whatever it is. Yeah.
are you doing that now? What are you doing to get there? Are you doing that thing? So how did identity and coherence for you click in that way? Like, how did that come together?
Yeah. I think during different I think every decade of our lives, we are different people, right? Turning 50 was big. I divorced. Now I'm a single mom. I took on the identity of struggling, which I was. I really took on the identity too. And I remember thinking to myself, how am I going to get my 3 kids through college? And I was like, my whole world was shattered, right? And it was really interesting. I didn't realize this to the other side of it. My kids are all out of college on their own, doing their own thing now, right? But in that moment, I was like, if I stay poor, they can probably get scholarships.
Yeah.
And I think I set that in my head because boy, did I stay poor. Right. And I struggled. And my twin, I have 3, my twins are the babies. And as my twins were in senior year, I was like, the FAFSA no longer matters. It doesn't matter. So now it's on me. I did this. Now, how are you getting out of this? And it was like looking inward and just going, you pick that identity. So, dude, I picked up, sold my house, I moved. I did all the things because I was like, shake it off, move. They don't have to come around, moved. And so I do go through these shakeups, but each time you're growing a little bit. And when you talk about coherence, I think coherence is the new buzzword we're going to start to hear, because I do believe that this is the word, this is what the body actually needs. Now, there's going to be a lot of people saying the word coherence and not understanding what it is, right? Coherence from a physical point is when your nervous system is on board, right? When your nervous system matches your vision, right? Because there's so many clients that I work with that come to me and they're like stuck at 6 figures or they're stuck somewhere. And I was like, that's an earning ceiling problem. That's a subconscious belief that you believe that either this is what you made in corporate, or you never wanted to make more than your father made, or you can't make more than your husband makes, or whatever that looks. That's subconscious. It's usually not in the conscious frame, but that's an earning ceiling, right? And believing that you can do so. You're like, I'm trying one thing, or they make it. I had a client who made it and then lost it, and made it and then lost it. And I was like, you're self-sabotaging. Do you not see this pattern? And then talking about that. So coherence is when your body also believes it. Right? You can muscle test on it. There's a lot of things that you can do to see if your body actually believes it. And that's part of the psyche work that I bring into my work. But because I'm always like, I can give you all the strategy in the world. If your body doesn't believe it, it's not going to happen. Yeah. So I feel like more people now during the awakening are also looking for the coherence. I think alignment was the word 2 years ago, right? And I was using it and I'm like, alignment means knowing the direction that you're going and how we're getting there. That's alignment, right? So if I don't want to work nights, I'm not working nights. If I want to work 3 days a week and make 100,000, I need to live that lifestyle, right? Alignment is your lifestyle, but coherence is your physical body also on that journey. Your nervous system, you don't get anxiety, you don't flip out, you don't.
Families, right? How we're socialized. And I always feel like it'll get taken care of. The money will come. Like,
that's a great place to be.
right?
Yes.
My husband's worried about it. It's a very different place. And it's interesting. It just happened. We had an issue with the car and I was like, oh, money will come, we'll be fine. And we got a $3,000 check from the warranty company. And so you were like, how does this happen to you? And I'm like, I didn't order the warranty 12 years ago or whatever. But I feel like it's just one of those things that I really believe it. There's been moments where I've had some doubts, don't get me wrong, but I really believe it, that the work I'm doing is important, that it will eventually come. It's going to come. I just have to keep doing the thing, and the door's gonna open, and it's gonna all make sense once that door's open. I just have to get to that point to be able to get that door open, and then it'll happen. And that is an energetic kind of belief. And I love that you talked about muscle testing. I think that's amazing. I actually muscle test my dogs all the time for food and all kinds of things. I love that. So So when you look back for you, where was there misalignments and incoherence or disconnection? And when did you know? Was there a moment that it shifted? Was it easy to be aware of in the moment? Or did you look back and go, that was the moment?
There was a whole bunch of moments. I don't think you shift once and you got your mood together, right? And I still hit that. There's still moments of going into fear. You just get better at it. I remember when I first divorced and I wanted to date right away again without healing myself after 22 years. Right. And I remember a girlfriend saying, you're attracting your husband over and over again. And I was like, oh, what is in me that's doing that? Right. And then choosing to stop and work on me. Right. And that was big. I did so much inner work for the next 2-3 years, like so much self-love, so much that I didn't feel the need to actually date again, because I was like, I know that I have what I need. Right. That was a big thing. The moment I told you about my twin senior year, I'm just going, oh, God, I brought that about myself. I did that. Those are moments. And I think alignment is easier, knowing the direction you're going and creating the business plan that matches where you're going. That takes a long time, constantly correcting. Coherence is very different. Coherence is getting my body in alignment too. And that's what I still work on a lot of, what is right for me. And is that the ego coming in?
Yeah, coming from. Yeah.
I just had an interesting last week. I tend to do things very impulsive. I try not to be like, does this mean, do I really need this? So I stop. But last weekend I was visiting one of my best friends who moved to Delaware 3 years ago. And I go down and I visit, and I thought she was crazy. Who would leave New Jersey? This is so great. And last weekend I went down to visit her. Within 24 hours, I bought a house.
It was meant to be.
I have a lot of faith in certain parts of the universe and other things that I don't. So that's, yeah, I need to just be like, it's all okay. Only good things happen to me. I don't have to worry.
So there was something that either on your replication or something, you said something about who do I need to become to lead what I want to create?
Yeah.
And that phrase stuck with me. And I've asked myself that a couple of times since I read it. And I think our listeners may need to hear it too. So can you unpack that a little bit for us? Who do I need to become to lead what I want to create? It goes back to the eulogy a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
But kind
And
of
the identity piece that you work on, right? So you're working on identity and think about your own brand, right? Brand me.
yeah.
How do I want to show up in the world? I always say, how do you want to be remembered on the day you die?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Because you will be remembered and you are always leaving an impression. So you might as well make it intentional. My last book is called Leaving Your Legacy. And that's some of the points I made. You're leaving it anyway. Let's make it intentional in the way you build your life today. Right. So
huge word that I use all the time. You can either let life happen to you or you can be intentional about less reactive, proactive, that you can change that trajectory. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, right, when I was talking about earlier this year, recognizing what I was doing instead of leading, and what I really crave is leading. And many times I teach. I've been a teacher.
I have a regular one too, but I want to do this one today. If I could wave my magic wand for you today and I could solve a marketing or branding issue for you as you're at this point in your business, what are you being challenged with right now in this evolution where you're going from less of the doer and more of the leader? How does that look like for you? What is the questions that you're having right now?
Yeah, for me and the brand, I would say it's getting people to understand who we are. And the biggest thing is I never wanted to look like this is my community and I'm the coach, because so many coaches have their communities. They're like, oh, and when you say you have a community, I want to be known as a professional organization, not my professional organization, right? I happen to, and that's what only changed my title. I was like, instead of saying founder, why don't you be CEO and chief visionary? So people know that this is an organization.
What is this exactly?
Yes.
And who exactly does this serve? Like I saw purpose driven and I saw some of that and I saw some language. So I can see the challenge. I would say this, when you are talking to people. So one of the things that we do for us, I don't know how you do some of your calls and whatever, you have transcripts from some of those calls of what they're saying. I would ask AI to analyze some of those transcripts. If you have a big library of them, put them into a Google Doc, whatever. Have AI actually analyze some of the talking points that they're saying. What are they saying it is, so that it resonates with them more and less about like what you think it's going to be, but what they're actually like. Their words make that part of your marketing.
And when people call me asking questions, those kind of conversations,
or if you have networking calls, like you have you have different things that you're doing, record those calls, aggregate them.
Oh, that's such a great idea.
Language from them to help inform how you talk about it, so that it's not you creating the language like it's yours. Let it be theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Their language. Yeah. So we record every single step of the way with our clients, and we oftentimes mine our transcripts for.
That's smart. Yeah.
So even on our testimonials, like we have all of our testimonial videos, we put them into documents based on the service level that we have. Like I'm sure you have different levels too, and people talk away. I also believe that I don't want to step in front of my brand, because I have an amazing team and they do a lot of the work. And I felt if I step in front of the brand, it's negating them. But what I have found is by stepping in front of the brand and being really passionate about the mission and being a face for it has allowed the brand to live a different breath and given it, but I think people blogging, articles, whatever perspective, get them out there as well as you so that
Yes.
it's just you.
Yeah. And that's really the goal. And I'm not going anywhere, but like you said, people are drawn to my energy. Like when they hear me on a podcast, when they read my stuff, when they, right. And that's why I show up in the community three times a month.
In the humanness, right?
Yes.
It's not a brand or they want that to you. Yes.
And I always say my community is me extended because people wouldn't be attracted to me in the community if they weren't my energy, right? We only attract who we are. When people's like, I don't know if it's for me. And I was like, it's me. Everyone in there is also me. It's energy.
These are my people.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be wickedly branded? And how do you think you show up with your community, this community, as wickedly branded?
Yeah, I would say in my authenticity, right? And my truth. And I think your brand stands for that just as much as mine. And walking my talk.
Yeah. You're supposed to do. I'm not always perfect about it, but I do walk the walk.
Yeah.
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 I always say we get the name wickedly branded from Alphaba and Wicked.
Yeah.
Post about Alphaba and embracing your inner green, and the last line of the blog post was "Dare to be wickedly branded," and I was like, like my whole soul went on fire when I wrote that phrase, and I was like, could that possibly be available? And it was. I just can't even believe it was. And the whole idea is really that green, like embracing exactly the very thing that she was actually kept down for was the very thing that made her magical, literally magical. Embraced herself. She didn't need to go to a wizard. She didn't need to go anywhere else. She just needed to embrace herself fully, come home to herself.
Yeah.
And she had the power all along. And that is the thing that I think is so incredibly important when it comes to being wickedly branded, is really understanding that you don't need a certification. You don't need to go to some man behind the curtain, magical place where everyone knows everything. You just need to be you and really lean as hard into it as possible. And in a world of generic marketing that's happening right now with AI, your uniqueness, your greenness will be your differentiator. You don't need to manufacture that.
Yeah.
It is 100% you and your truth and alignment and coherence and all the things we've talked about today that are incredibly important and powerful. And I love this energetic soul side of it because we want people to sit in their soul. Like I know this is what I'm meant to do with every single fiber of my being, and it exudes from my soul. And when you live in that truth, in that alignment, in that coherence, you're unfreaking stoppable.
Yeah. I agree.
That is superpower. So I want way more women to have that. Men too, don't get me wrong, men too. But I want women to feel that. I think men have oftentimes felt some of that. We have not had our turn at that. So I really want, and a lot of midlife women specifically, I feel like you're my people because you've been through it, you know this evolution and what happens and all of that. But from the deepest part of me, I know if there's more women living in their alignment and coherence and their identity is fully shining, that it will be a better world. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I want to leave it to my kids.
Yeah. But that's all coming though, right? The rise of the feminine energy in the world, that's going to be more nurturing, more kind. We'll probably have healthcare and retirement funds and a nice life, and it's all going to get better. And I think it's going to be faster than we think. I really want to believe that for sure. I'm going to do my part. You do your part. And I'm already doing my part, right? We'll all get there. Yes. I think we're definitely going to get there. So how can people find you? What's your website? What do you offer? Kind of give us a lowdown of all the things. Yeah. So the best way to find out about anything I talked about that can live longer and bigger, give you confidence to magnify your impact even further, we'd be happy to be on that journey with you. But until then, I want you to know that you have the power to turn your spark into a wildfire and to make a difference in this world. And until next time, I really want to dare you to be more wickedly branded. Yay. Thank you, Camille.
Just so fun. I love what I do because I get to spend an hour with you, and it's like reaffirming of our purpose and
Yeah.
what we want to create, and that there is an army of us out there doing really cool things. And
Yes. Agreed.
I think we're quiet. Like you said, you serve and you don't talk about it a whole lot. It's
Yep.
like
Yep.
core army doing really big things. And it makes me my heart happy that there are other people doing really cool things and that you have this amazing community.